Airport noise can be a nuisance. More importantly, if a property is located within a high noise contour or accident potential zone, it may affect the owner's ability to utilize the property as intended. Disclosure of airport noise. Arizona law mandates that sellers disclose if a property is located in a territory in the vicinity of a military airport or ancillary military facility. To assist with this legally required disclosure, the residential seller's property disclosure statement and vacant land lot seller's property disclosure statement ask whether the seller is aware if the property is located in the vicinity of an airport. What is a territory in the vicinity of an airport? Territory in the vicinity is defined by Arizona law at ARS, Par 28 848120. The definition provides that territory in the vicinity means any property located within certain zones. Those zones are described by way of dimensions that surround specific military airports in Arizona, such as Luke Air Force Base. For visual learners, the Arizona Department of Real Estate compiles airport boundary maps and makes them available to the public. These maps illustrate the boundaries of areas in the immediate vicinity of military and public airports that are susceptible to a certain level of noise from aircraft. The boundaries are typically referred to as noise contours. The maps are a useful guide to determining if a property falls within a noise contour. Maps for military airports can be accessed at www.re.state.as.us Airport Maps, Military Airports. ASPX and maps for many of the public airports are found at www.re.state.az.us Airport Maps, publicairports.aspx. Additionally, images for the boundaries of military and public airports located in Maricopa County can be viewed at http://macassessor.maricopa.gov. Notably, the maps are intended to show the areas subject to airport-related noise from a given airport. Periodic overflights that may contribute to noise cannot usually be determined from these maps. Zoning and development regulations. Not only can airport noise affect an owner's enjoyment of their property, but it may affect their use of the property. More specifically, Arizona laws regulate the zoning and development of property located within areas of high noise contours or accident potential zones. The definition for noise or accident potential zones, along with the zoning and development regulations for those areas, can be found at ARS, Par 28 8481, http www.asleg.state.az.us ARS 28 08481, HTM and ARS, Par 28 8461, www.asleg.state.az.us ARS 28 08461, HTM. It is important to note that while a property may be zoned for a particular use, if that property is located in a high noise contour or accident potential zone, a buyer may not be able to develop and utilize the property as intended. In other words, vacant land or lot may be zoned as residential, but because that property is located within a high noise or accident potential zone, the buyer may not be authorized to construct a residential home on the lot. Therefore, because zoning and development may conflict with one another, a buyer should verify whether the buyer will be able to utilize the property as the buyer intends before purchasing a property near an airport. Military airport disclosure requirements for property in the territory in the vicinity of a military airport are contained in ARS, Par 28 8483 and 28 8484. These laws may be found at www.asleg.state.az.us ARS 28 8483, HTM, and www.asleg.state.az.us ARS 28 08484, HTM. Public airport disclosure requirements for property in the territory in the vicinity of a public airport are contained in ARS, Par 28 8486. This law may be found at www.asra.gov Airport Maps, Public Airports. ASPX. Maps depicting noise level contours and airport traffic airspace may also be found on the ADRI website at the bottom of the following page: www.asri.gov Airport Maps, Public Airports. ASPX sellers responsible to disclose if home is in an airport influence area. Arizona has a law, ARS Par 28 8485, that requires sellers to disclose if they are selling a home in an airport influence area. Most sellers are unaware of this law and do not research prior to selling their home to determine if they are located in an airport influence area. the state legislation provides that they can be designated as an airport influence area, all property that is in the vicinity of the airport that is currently exposed to aircraft noise and overflight, and that either has a day-night average sound level of 65 decibels or higher, or is within such geographical distance from an existing runway that exposes the area to aircraft noise and overflights as determined by the airport owner or operator. 65 decibels is not that loud. This level can be closely compared to a normal conversation level when you are speaking to someone about 3 feet away. That could be difficult for homeowners to determine since not everybody has a decibel meter. So how does a seller know if their home is located in an airport influence area? The state or the governing body is supposed to file a record with the county recorder of the airport influence areas. In addition, ARS Paragraph 28-8486 requires the state real estate department to have and make available to the public on request a map showing the exterior boundaries of each territory in the vicinity of a public airport. Not only are you required to disclose if your home is in the vicinity of a public airport, but a military airport as well. Military airports are to provide a registry of information, including maps of military flight operations, which will provide exterior boundaries of each territory in the vicinity of a military airport and the exterior boundaries of each high noise or accident potential zone. The Arizona Department of Real Estate provides the maps on their website disclosing what properties are in the vicinity of an airport. Seller must disclose noise from airport. Question. We moved to Phoenix from Boston last fall. Immediately after we moved into our home, we realized that we were in the flight path of jet planes from Luke Air Force Base. We are very angry with the seller for not disclosing this fact to us, but our letters to the seller have been unanswered. Believe it or not, we are getting used to the noise from the jet planes, but we are concerned that as honest people, we will have to disclose this noise problem with the jet planes to potential buyers when we sell our home next year. Even though we are now comfortable living in our home, we certainly would not have paid the same price for our home had we known of this noise problem. Do we still have to disclose this noise problem to potential buyers? In addition, Luke Air Force Base will become the location of the new F-35A fighter jet program. Do we also have to disclose this F-35A issue? Answer. Even though you were treated unfairly by your seller, you still have the obligation to disclose to your buyer any material, adverse fact that a reasonable buyer would want to know, including the fact that there will be noise from jet planes. In addition, Arizona law specifically requires disclosure to a buyer of the proximity of any home to a military airport, such as Luke Air Force Base. Finally, disclosure of the new F-35A jet program is probably required.